Hello Libra, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Libra is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there's anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Libra, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And wow, we start with the Eon card. Judgment, rebirth, reawakening, a baptism by fire. The struggle you're going through now is preparing you to level up. You're being molded and shaped by the universe because there's a doorway that's going to appear for you. And you're going to take that doorway and it's going to change your future. Okay, this is the card of, this is the divine doorway. This is a decision that we are making to put an end to the past and step boldly forward into who we truly are. This is a full spiritual awakening. Nothing essential, nothing that is not essential can go through this doorway with you. Okay, so we have to let go of the past. We have to resolve certain things. We have to leave certain things behind, so that we can go through this doorway. This is full activation. Let's put this into some context. All right. And you have, there's your future self. Okay, the Queen of Pentacles. We have a 3 of Pentacles. We have a 4 of Swords, an 8 of Pentacles, and the Ace of Cups. Very good. This is the dream come true. Okay. I think that you're about to level up in your life. Really, really big time. The 4 of Swords, there are unresolved things in the past that need your attention. There's the pressure cooker itself. Okay, this is the blacksmith's anvil. Okay, this is you feeling as if you're being tested, or you realize that you're in the struggle, you're in the fire right now because you're being transformed. It's an alchemical experience. Here we have a Prince of Pentacles. We have the Devil card. And look at that, Empress. Very, very good. Stepping in to your Empress life. Stepping into Big Rock Candy Mountain, your paradise, your Garden of Eden, your oasis, right? Your garden. And that's what you're cultivating here. That you're focused on. You understand that there's a reason why you're going through what you're going through. Okay? Because you're being molded and shaped. You're cultivating yourself, you're cultivating your life, and this is the reward. You've been working on your dream. That dream is about to go through the roof. You are about to get the dream come true. This is the Holy Grail, and you're just about to discover it, achieve it, find it, claim it, okay, and carry it home. And this is home. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown, and we're going to set it down right here with our little sea turtle friend. We're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together, and it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during this message you feel like you might know what that card is, put your prediction in the comments, okay? Now, as we look around the room, we see 1, 2, 3, 4 major arcana energies. Okay. And the Devil seems to be the challenge. This is in the position of the obstacle, right? And this kind of feels like almost that we feel like this challenging, this fire that we're in, this struggle that we're in right now is never going to end. Feels like we're kind of like maybe we're being punished. Maybe we're chained, right? We're sort of we're condemned to live in this pressure cooker forever. But it's not. You're being molded and shaped into who you need to be. Okay, and it's just we're about to go through this doorway, but there's something that you're holding on to from the past. We see that with our air energy. We don't have any overt fire cards, the Eon and the Art card. These are fiery energies. Okay, we see a little bit of water here, and this is all the water. You're getting to that spiritual source. You're getting to to the Holy Grail, the Fountain of Youth. I mean, this is the source. This is the well. We've got air, and we've got 1, 2, 3 earth cards. Okay, so there's not much in the way of air and water, right? The heart and the mind. Yeah. We have to deal with the mind so that we can step through this doorway and get to the water. Okay, so the Four of Swords is something we have to make peace with, right? There's something unresolved in your history, and I don't quite know exactly what it is. It's possible that there's an older female energy that this has to do with, maybe an earth sign person. And I'm getting a letter A or AY for a name, okay? And I feel like there's something unresolved there. And it's almost like we haven't talked to somebody in a long time, or that we've not yet really been able to move on from something. So sometimes that Aeon card is that doorway that says we've got to resolve some issues in the past so that we can kind of close that chapter and step into this future, okay? Because that's a divine doorway, let's do a divine doorway card. We're going to use our divine doorway oracle cards. And your doorway says, birth. Another gateway appears in view. New life is unfolding with blessings to you. The rebirth energy, right? So we have to resolve something in the past, make peace with it, or find some sort of closure or conclusion to it. And it may have to do with reconciling a relationship or rebuilding a relationship of some kind, or at least coming to a type of forgiveness so that we can move on. If it is forgiveness, it's not because we're excusing the other person's behavior. It's not that we're condoning it or sanctioning it or enabling it, but we're forgiving for our own benefit. I'm forgiving you so I can move on. I don't care what you do. I'm moving on, right? It's that kind of a vibe. But I like the birth energy, because what you're doing is realizing your potential. This is the Queen of Pentacles. And this is the card that's looking at the past and trying to understand the long and winding road, the twists and turns, the ups and downs of life. We see the pathway behind the Queen there. So we're looking at the long road that we've been on, how we got here. And this is really kind of like our future self. This is us asking, okay, who do I want to be? Where do I want to be? And what do I want to be doing in the future? What does my dream come true look like? We have to feel that we are that person. Not only what does it look like, but what's my experience of being in that dream come true? See, so it's different than the Knight of Pentacles is looking at the future and seeing the details. That's what my life looks like. But this is sort of like we're putting ourselves in the position of our future self and saying, how does it feel to be in this dream, to live in the dream? How does it feel to be in this reality that I've created, right? Because looking at the past, we understand that all of our thoughts, words, and deeds have created who we are right now. Okay, so that's what the Queen's doing, looking at the past, looking at that Four of Swords and saying, okay, everything that I've ever been through in life, the choices, all my thoughts, words, and deeds, the way that I've responded to life, the way that I've dealt with things, the choices I've made, etc., that's gone into creating my present self. So then, obviously, just logically speaking, everything I do right now, every thought, word, and deed, the way I respond to things, the way I handle things, the way I exist, the choices I make, etc., are creating my future self. You see, it's all karma. And from this present moment, we can look at the past and we can see the thread that's led us here. And we can also now recognize that I get to create the thread moving forward now. That if I'm consciously aware of my thoughts, words, and deeds, I can influence, I can create my future life, my future self, okay? So sometimes with the Art or Temperance card, we start to feel as if life is just hammering us, right? And I'm jumping around a little bit, but that's okay. It's my show. I can do that. Your general energy is the Temperance card. This is the pressure cooker. This is the blacksmith's anvil. And very often in life, we feel as if we're laying down on the blacksmith's anvil and life is just hammering us. Life just keeps hitting us with problem after problem, challenge after challenge, difficulty, difficulty, difficulty. And that may be true. I think there's there's kind of a gray area there, because a lot of what we're going through is a result of our past karma. Now, we're not trying to victim blame. I'm not trying to say it's all your fault. But very often we look at it like life keeps hitting me with challenges. But what we need to realize as well is that these challenges are the means toward transcending. It's through these challenges that if we accept them with courage, if we make the decision to face those challenges and to realize that regardless of how it happened, my fault, someone else's fault, my karma, their karma, doesn't matter. Point is, we're here. And if we're here and life is hammering us, the only thing we can do is step up and face those challenges to the best of our ability and make good choices and nudge the river in our favor a little bit. Okay? So we're not looking for someone to blame. And maybe that's part of what our Four of Swords is. Maybe that's what the Queen of Pentacles is looking back at and seeing that there are, and I don't know, maybe there was a family thing. Maybe we kind of feel that the reason we're going through so many difficulties now is because of all these things that happened to us in the past. Maybe we have to let go of some of that. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe you're right. Maybe it was a lot of other people's decisions that put you in the position you're in your life right now. And I think it's probably a mixture. It's not all one or the other. But the point is, we're here. So this is the reality that we have to deal with, and we have choices to make. And each one of these choices is a doorway, right? A doorway to our future. Okay? Sometimes the Queen of Pentacles is a card of regret. It's the card of saying, I am who I am today because of all these things that happened to me in the past. Or we could say, I am who I am today because of all the choices that I've made in the past. And you know what? That means that all the choices I make today, I can get the dream. I can live the dream. My whole future can come true. Okay? So it's important that we stop looking for blame. We accept the circumstances as they are, and we do our very best to meet those circumstances with awareness, with lucidity, with courage, okay? And with a belief in ourselves. Now, you've got this Three of Pentacles underneath the surface. I think you understand how karma works. You understand the nature of things, right? You're a very practical person right now. I feel like in your past, and maybe this is part of our Four of Swords too, I feel like you trusted people a lot. And I feel like we kind of are now not so trusting of people because we've over-trusted before and we've gotten hurt, okay? So sometimes we feel like, really, I have myself to blame because I trusted them and they hurt me, okay? Really, and again, we're not trying to do the debate. Maybe we should blame them because they hurt us, right? Or they betrayed us, or they broke the trust, or whatever it was. But you might have a tendency to blame yourself, thinking, well, I let them into my life, I trusted them, I opened up my doors to them, and this is how I'm treated, so I got no one else to blame. But we're not blaming anybody. We're trying to say, what do I need to do to get the heck out of this situation and to get things in a better way? I got to start living the dream here. I got to start pursuing those things that matter. I got to meet my challenges with, again, lucidity, clarity, awareness, and courage. And I think that in a lot of ways, we have like one problem on the table, basically. There's one thing, what's keeping you up at night? Right? What's keeping you up at night? That's the decision. Those are the choices. That's the thing that all of our choices need to be aimed at. Right? Not all these other things that are occupying our mind that are sort of peripheral, or they're distractions, or they're other worries, or we're doing the blame thing, or we're feeling the guilty, we're feeling the guilt or the regret. We need to focus on the actual problem. So there's one central core thing, not a bunch of other things. It's kind of like, I don't know, you're going to the store because you realize your refrigerator, you're out of broccoli, right? So you go to the store to get broccoli, but you end up getting 20 other things. But it's like we have to address the actual issue, which is, I got no broccoli in the fridge, right? I think you're supposed to keep broccoli in the fridge, right? I'm always confused with which things you keep on the counter and which things you keep in the fridge. I don't know. I just put all the vegetables in the fridge. I don't know. So it's kind of about, focusing on what is going to make the most significant difference right now. How do we stop worrying about all the kind of non-essential things and just focus on what we really got to do? Well, you have that ability. Because the Three of Pentacles is the card of kind of understanding the process of change on the physical plane. We have to understand what is going to have an actual effect on our future. If there's broccoli missing from the fridge, I need to address that problem. I'm not worried about the onions or the potatoes and things like this, right? It's the broccoli that's missing. That's what I need to get. That's what I need to make the decisions about. Where I'm going to get the broccoli, how much I'm willing to spend on broccoli, and that sort of thing. How I'm going to store it when I get home, countertop or refrigerator. But we're not going to go worrying about, the flour or the onions or the sugar because, well, they got plenty of that. That's not the issue. So sometimes we get caught up in too many sort of entanglements that are taking our focus away from what the decisions really need to be. Yeah, and that could be part and parcel of our Eight of Pentacles. This is a very good card. This is a card of cultivation. But this sometimes is a card of saying, I'm worried about things that don't need my worry right now. I'm focused on things that really don't need my attention, and that's taking my focus away from what really is what's the real core of the matter, the broccoli. So this sometimes is a card of paying attention to too many details. We're missing the wood for the trees here, right? So by perhaps focusing on those things that are maybe seem important, we're losing sight of the core choices or the core pathway that really does need our focus, needs our choices, right? So that doorway that's there, we're so worried about all these other doors that we're missing the big, huge doorway right in front of us. Okay. Now this card, like I said, it is a card of growth and patience and cultivation. I feel like sometimes we get bogged down by details, and we need to reflect on what is the core issue in our life right now. What is the big? It's like when you're on the blacksmith's anvil and you're getting hammered by life, we got to address the hammer and our experience of the hammer, and that is kind of like that's the glaring issue. That's the most important top priority thing, not all these other little things, right? Not the leaky faucet, not the draft coming out the window, but the big fire in our living room kind of thing. Yeah. So doing a little bit of, well, the Four of Swords really is a key card here, because the Four of Swords is also about how we are sort of blocking off our mental space. We can do that through breath work, meditation, yoga nidra kind of things, right? Ways to sort of silence our mind, positive affirmations, as a way to focus, right? And I think meditation and breath work are essential things in life, because by sort of clearing our mind through meditation and breath work and stuff, we're able to kind of see like what are the big decisions that I really need to make in life, because we calm down some of the noise. We lower the volume on some of the static, and so that we can really get like what the core message is right now. And that's our ability to see this doorway and to start making decisions that are going to lead to our best life, lead to our paradise. Okay? And it could very well be that we've been focused on too many things from the past that don't really matter right now. So if we need some sort of resolution, some sort of closure, some sort of forgiveness, we got to cut ties with something so that we can then turn our focus on getting what we want and what we need in life. Focusing on those areas of growth and cultivation that are really going to mean something. Okay. Now, Path of the Serpent. We're going to talk about the Temperance card again. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. These readings are totally free. As your general energy, the Temperance card is, again, feeling as if we are getting hammered by life. We're in challenging circumstances. But also I feel that there's an awareness that this is changing who you are. That the way we respond to the challenge right now, is predicting who we're going to become. We can respond poorly to life, and we will develop poorly. We can respond strongly to life, strongly to the challenges, and we will be cultivated in a very strong manner, right? And I think that we have, it's almost like life is pretty neutral. It's our reaction to it that determines whether or not we're improving or we're diminishing our energies. Okay, so I feel like you've got a lot of things on your mind right now. A lot of things feel like they're sort of bombarding you. That's kind of what I feel. I kind of feel like we're in a spaceship and we're going through an asteroid field. Okay, and those little asteroids are annoying, but they're not really causing much damage. You got to look out for the really big ones. Those big ones need that's where the choices really, really matter. So it could be that we're too bogged down with all these minor details of something that we're losing focus on the really big choices that really matter. Okay? And every relationship is an alchemical relationship. Every moment of life changes us a little bit. We're influencing the world is influencing us. And if we sort of keep that in mind, then we sort of prioritize what things we're going to worry about first, In the environment, in your relationships, you have a Prince of Pentacles. And the Prince of Pentacles is someone that shows up every day, does the work, doesn't really ask questions, isn't worried about anything, clocks in, clocks out. Very reliable, very good worker, but doesn't try to ask questions or have any kind of ingenuity, doesn't try to innovate, doesn't try to do anything different, just clocks in and clocks out. And that's fine, but the problem is that it sort of becomes robotic, right? Because this card doesn't have the lucidity to really make any kind of big top-level choices here. This is the card that might make the choice of, okay, what kind of nail do I need or what kind of hammer do I need for this particular nail, but doesn't make the big decisions on what the heck am I building and should I build something else or should I change the structure? You know what I mean? So that's this. This is a major decision. We are stepping out of the old life into a new life, okay, where we're going to manifest our dreams. We're going to get that Holy Grail, right? So we have to dispense with all of these kind of minor concerns and focused on what are the big issues in your life right now, okay? And the builder energy, this is fine, but if this builder is operating off of some outdated plans or some past script or some past narrative, these blueprints from long ago, it's not asking questions, it's just building it. It's the way your body is going to build whatever the mind thinks about. Whatever you think, you become. Whatever is always on your mind is what you're going to create with your hands. It's like your hands are molding this piece of clay, and then they hand it to you and they say, "Here you go." And you say, I don't want that. What the heck is this? I didn't tell you to build this. And your body says, well, yeah, you did, because that's what you've been thinking about for so long. I thought this is what you wanted. And that's a disconnect. Your body is going to build whatever your mind is always thinking about. So first thing we have to do with the 4 is try to ask ourselves, what's on my mind so much? What am I always thinking about? What is the core issue? What do I think about when I go to sleep? What do I think about when I wake up? What are the things that wake me up from a deep sleep? What am I always worried about? What thing am I always telling myself? What am I losing sleep over? And there might not be one thing, but what are those big issues in my life that really are sort of repeating in my mind, But then we end up getting concerned with all these other little details that puts the bigger issues in the background, you see? And that's the problem between the builder and the 4 of Swords, because the 4 of Swords may be that we are, we're not so aware all the time of what we are thinking or what's going on in our mind or how we're talking to ourselves or, what these minor issues are that we're so worried about, but we're sort of forgetting about the bigger issues. And therefore, we don't have as much control over the life that's being built around us. The relationships we're building, the structures we're building, the systems we're building, how we are being built. Okay? So that these cards here are illustrating the need for us to consciously make the decisions that are going to mold us as we're on the blacksmith's anvil. It's the way we meet with our challenges in life that determine who we become. Now, the Devil card. This is the issue because we feel like these challenges are never going to end. We feel like we are enslaved to this, to this kind of life. Feels like it's never going to end, right? It feels like we're cursed with this. But I feel like this is the big obstacle to get away from. It may feel that we don't even know. We sort of feel that our thoughts have sort of chained us into this pattern or this habit that we keep building the same things in life, and our body keeps bringing us this life and saying, here you go, and we keep saying, I don't want that. Stop building that, here's another birdhouse. It's like, stop building the birdhouses. I got 100 birdhouses now, just stop it. But we don't realize that there are so many things happening beyond our awareness with our thoughts and our intentions and our worries, our concerns, and those issues that we're dealing with. And, the body keeps producing the same things over and over again. And we kind of feel as if we have no control over that, but we do. Okay, and we can break those chains. And I think things like meditation and breath work and even positive affirmations, those sorts of things, they really do help. And journaling, all this Four of Swords stuff. Again, the Four of Swords really seems to be the key for getting the dream to come through, we have to be very aware of what's going on inside of us. And we have to be in some way able to direct those thoughts a little bit. Now, we can't control thought all the time necessarily, but we can start to emphasize the key issues that are important to us, that are related to our happy life, our best life, our dream come true. And the rest of the stuff can be sort of pushed to the background. So it's not necessarily about controlling our mind and only thinking one thought. It's all about like context. It's all about like focusing on the main issues of life and letting all the other mental activity sort of work toward that, or work on that, or work for that issue. Okay, and not letting other less important things take priority in our mind. Okay. And, the Empress. We know the Empress is the best life. It's the paradise. It's the Big Rock Candy Mountain. That is you in your dream, living your dream. No regrets. Always looking toward the future, not looking at the past, not worried about the past. Right? We learn from the past, etc., and all that good stuff. But I feel like you're being reborn into a new form of energy, a new alignment of energy right now. And I think it's going to be really, really good. I want to look at the mystery card. I'm kind of wanting like another Empress, right? But I think it might be some more water energy, because I feel like that's really what the future is. The way forward for you is to pursue your dream, manifest that dream, and live that life that you want to live. So this might be a Nine of Cups. It could be a Nine of Pentacles. It could be an Ace of Wands, maybe. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. It's the Seven of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles is very different from the Eight of Pentacles, right? The Eight of Pentacles are all these things that we're focusing on, all the details that we're focusing on, right? The Seven of Pentacles is us kind of focusing on those things that aren't so prominent at first, right? Kind of focusing on the shadows of things. Instead of focusing on how's my sugar, how are my onions, how are my potatoes, it's focusing on where the heck's the broccoli. There's no broccoli here, right? So we're focusing on the empty space, what's missing. We know what we're sort of occupied with, and so by finding out what are the core issues of our life and focusing on those things, and building up the momentum to address those issues, is putting, I think, all of the other details onto the back burner, into the background. Okay, this is also a card of discipline, of diligent work, but it is, to me, it feels more awake. right? Feels more attentive, feels more lucid, right? I think, having an 8 and a 7, they're both sort of off balance, okay? But I feel that if we look at these cards, we see the 8 as very orderly, very routine, and it's very structured. It feels kind of robotic, the 8 of Pentacles. But the 7, it feels like things are just off balance enough that it makes us awake. It brings us a little bit more awareness, a little bit more consciousness. Yeah. So it feels like we're disrupting our routines a little bit. We're getting out of this pattern of thought. We're interrupting the body, making the birdhouses. Here's your birdhouse. Here's your birdhouse. We're changing that up. Okay? We're focusing on other things that are going to perhaps feel much more challenging, but are going to have the biggest impact on your life. Those things that we don't want to ignore. We get into the routine and things are running so smoothly. It's like the highway hypnosis. You're not going to know you're even driving because it's just a smooth road. It's perfectly straight, perfectly flat. You only know you're really moving because of the bumps in the road and the slowing up and the speeding up and things of the car and the twists and turns of the road. That's the only way we know we're really, really doing anything, right? So it feels like getting out of that, the mental to the physical connection, getting out of those sort of habits, disrupting them in some way, is disrupting the programming, the routine that keeps running and running and running, is a way of bringing about more conscious awareness, okay, and the addressing of the big issues that are in your life right now, in order to manifest your dream life. Anyway, we're going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around, we're going to do an I Ching hexagram. We're going to do some oracle cards. There is a link in the corner. There's a link down below. New readings for Libra on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. These readings are totally free. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you, and I love you, and we're all in this together.